Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to make a quick little video. Well, I don't know how quick it's going to be, hopefully quick, but I'll have a sip of coffee. My throat's been bad the last couple of days. Quick little video about blending and layering cologne, perfume, scents in general. I'm not a big proponent of it. Not because I'm against it or anything, it's just I find most colognes, good colognes anyway, and perfumes, they don't need it. The perfumers took enough time to blend them perfectly. So why bother? What I do a lot, if a cologne is weak, now there's two things you can do. Three things, sorry. I found that worked for me. May not work for you, that's whatever. If you have a weak cologne, like Curve, I did a review on this. You can watch it if you want. It's longevity is not very good. What I find helps with the longevity, two things, is a non-scented moisturizer. Put a little bit on your hand. Rub it in wherever you're going to be applying your fragrance. And then put your fragrance on. Helps with longevity. Same thing as if you got, I got a bottle right here. If you've got a note in a perfume that you like, cologne, and either you want that note to be more prevalent, or you just want the cologne to last longer with longevity, put on a couple drops of an essential oil. This one's peppermint. I use that a lot with Polo Sport, Lamal, because they have that mint. Lamal I generally use vanilla, but with Polo Sport I use the peppermint. And anyway, you just find a note in the perfume that you really like that's noticeable, and you put on a couple drops of the essential oil on before you put it, just a couple drops, put a spray. That'll help with the longevity and that major note that you really like in the cologne. They'll do absolutely nothing for projection. I'll get to that in a second. What works for me with projection anyway. Because projection, I could be wrong. I'm not a perfumer. I'm not an expert. I just know from experience. And projection seems to, more oils and the moisturizer and stuff like that doesn't help with projection, because it just keeps, it actually will almost impede more projection, take the projection down a little bit, which is fine if you're not, old married guys like me don't need to project out there. I've already got I already hooked my fish. So if you're younger or single, whatever, you may not want to do that. If you want to project out and get noticed by ladies, easier. But if you're on a date, something, you want to sit a little closer to the skin, put a little bit of unscented moisturizer, and or whatever the note in the cologne is, if it's mint, orange, vanilla, and whatever your favorite note is in that cologne, buy the essential oil, put a couple drops of it on, and then put the cologne on. That'll help it last longer, sit a little closer. But anyway, that was it for, I'm sure there's a million other ways that people know of, but that's always worked for me. Relatively cheap. And the oils can be a little expensive, but they last forever. You spend $15, $20, $30 on an oil, and I've had oils 15 years now. Just make sure you keep them stored away from sunlight, heat. I have a cold room in my basement where I keep a lot of my stuff that has no sunlight and no insulation. It's basically a brick wall. It's very, very cool. Anyway, that's just a tip. Store your colognes in there too if you can. Something like that, it'll last longer. Now let's get on to what works for me with projection. What works for me is finding a cologne or an aftershave that has not necessarily one note, but it's a dominant note. It could have a dozen notes, but there's that one note that's just pretty much dominant through the whole thing. And I'll give you two examples that I have. The two that I use the most what I'll do is for every 2 sprays of cologne, I'll put on a spray of the base. So, base, cologne. And it'll help it project farther. And what I mean by one, like I said, one note, doesn't have to be one note, but it's the most popular, and you don't even have to like it. And I'm going to give you a prime example right here, because I hate this on its own. I think it stinks. But combined with most of my colognes, it really helps, and it adds a little bit to it, and that's and they're not expensive. This one was $30 for 100 mils. White Musk from the Body Shop. I'm sure White Musk anywhere will work fine. and it's a very soft musk. White Musk in general is soft. It's synthetic. They basically take the best parts of authentic, real musk, take the best parts, get rid of the bad parts, that fecal, animalistic smell you get from, I don't know if, a lot of people nowadays haven't smelled real musk. I was, you say lucky or unfortunate, I'm going with unfortunate, that I have smelled real musk, and, fuck, does it ever stink? I don't know whatever compel the men and women to put that shit on themselves before. Because yeah. Ugh. But this is nice. They take out, they use synthetics and basically, like I said, get rid of all that stinky shit and musk. And keep the good shit. And it's very clean, soft, light musk. On its own, I don't like it. This one is white musk and white florals. Very feminine. Very feminine. I don't know how this got for men, but it did. A woman could and should smell good on a woman, I think, but a man on its own, I don't know. I mean, unless you're one of them metrosexuals or, and if you are, that's cool. I ain't judging, man. It's all about my channel, ain't no judging. Don't care. Gay, straight, metro, homo, whatever you want to be, I don't care. But that's who that would be for if you were a male. The other one I got is Malizio Umo. As you can see, the main note, pretty much the only note that I can smell, vetiver. Problem with vetiver is, for me anyways, you got to make sure it's a clean vetiver, not a dirty vetiver. And I don't know how to describe the difference other than that. Clean vetiver dries nice, smooth, whereas a dirty vetiver is generally more earthy and just dry sour on me, and I don't like that. But this is a nice clean vetiver. And they both work good with pretty much any scent. The white musk with the florals in it here tend to work really well with aquatics, non-sweet aquatics like CK1, Aqua di Gio Profumo. This works really well with things like that. But it also works very, very well with sweeter colognes. Lamal, 1 Million, Invictus Aqua. Works really well with ones like that. Whereas I find the Vetiver, of course, being earthy and green, works good with green type fragrances like Curve, Cool Water, believe it or not, I know people think it's an aquatic, but it's more of a, to my nose anyway, of a green smell. But basically anything that's green, this works good with. Gives you that base. They both work really well as a base for what you'd call classic men's scents. Fougères, barbershop scents, whatever you want to call them. You know, where a lot of lavender and musk and you know, mosses and things are used. I think on Canoe is a good example. I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, I'm sorry. It's Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gouche or something like that. These work really, especially this one with that works really well. That's a classic barbershop scent. And then you combine it with that works really well. And like I said, what they do is they don't do anything for longevity so much as projection. They help project. I don't know why. I'm not a chemist, a perfumist, whatever. I just know that they work for me. Like I said, and I don't like either one of them on their own, honestly. I mean, a lot of people love Vetiver. It doesn't stink, but I would never wear it on its own. I just couldn't. Yeah, I just couldn't. And this again doesn't stink, but just smells too light, musky, and florally for me for a man's fragrance, but it's really good as a base. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you a quick little rundown on them. That's how I make colognes last longer and project better. I haven't tried it together. I don't know if that would be too much. Putting on a couple drops of this, a spray of cologne, putting on a spray of this, and a couple more sprays of the cologne. I just, with the moisturizer, I just seems like too much effort, first off. But secondly, just seemed like too much, silage, whatever, just too much of it. But anyway, I'd like to hear what you guys think. If you've tried any of these, what you do to help your fragrance last longer and project better. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Peace, love, be good to each other, guys. Adios.